So I have the very first Tag Tuesday for you guys today. I have my very first Tag Tuesday for you guys today. I wanted to do the mid-year Freakout because I've watched a bunch of these and it's kind of fun to see what people are reading and what they're thinking about halfway through the year. So as of today, I have read 25 books this year, which isn't a lot, but at the same time, I got a really late start because the beginning of the year I was moving the entire time and didn't have a chance to breathe, let alone read. So most of these books I've read over the last 3 months or so, but I still think that it is completely worth doing and I thought it would be fun. The first one is the best book that you read so far in 2017. I finished it yesterday. It's Illuminate. And whatever you've heard about this book, it does not justify the book whatsoever, because everyone kept telling me that it was about a space war. Well, it's so much more than that. I loved this book and I am currently waiting on pins and needles for Gemini to get here. Definitely the best book I've read so far this year. So the next question is to name your favorite sequel of the year. I went through and I looked at my Goodreads to figure out how many sequels I read, and I read a handful of sequels, but nothing that really jumped out at me, except for this. This is Library of Souls by Ransom Riggs, and it is the sequel, the third book to Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. And I had read the first two a while ago, and I've been holding on to this one. I started reading it at the very beginning of the year, but then it got packed when we were moving, and I couldn't find it until just this last month when we finally unearthed it. And it is definitely an amazing end to a wonderful series, and I am so glad that I read it. So one of my most anticipated new releases for this year, which is question number 3, what is a new release that you haven't read yet, was Flame in the Mist. I was stupid giddy when I got this last month, but I haven't read it yet. Why haven't I read it yet? I don't know. I've been kind of in this I don't know what to read slump, and so my daughter's been picking out all my books and she hasn't picked out this one yet. So I have not read this one yet, but this one's almost vying for the prettiest cover too. But yeah, this is definitely on my need to read soon list. So my most anticipated new release for the second half of the year is Wild Beauty, and this book, I'll have to stick it here, just sounds incredible. It's about these women who, if they love too strongly, their loves disappear. And the premise behind that idea just sparked something in me, and I'm like, oh, I want to read this. And I guess the issue with the book is that a boy pops up into the garden and no one knows where he came from. So I'm definitely interested in reading this book when it comes out later this year. My biggest disappointment is by far Something. I read the book for review because I got it for free and I was supposed to review it on this website, and the website ended up being a total bust. So I'm not going to share that with you because it ended up being a total garbage site that my husband found. But I got to read the worst book I've ever read in my entire life in the process, so it was lose-lose. Anyways, the book was horribly referencing mental illness. It was badly written. There was characters that didn't need to be in it. It was by far the worst book I've ever read in my entire life. My biggest surprise was probably Beauty Queens. I like to listen to audiobooks when I do a lot of different things, and one of the things I like listening to audiobooks doing is working out. People get pumped up with music, but I get bored of music, so I listen to books instead. And for me, I can always listen to a new book, but the music I listen to, I usually listen to the same thing over and over again, and after a while I just get bored of it. And so I was in between books. I'm reading the Daughter of Smoke and Bones series, and I was in between book 1 and 2 because I checked them out from the library, and I finished book 1 and book 2 was already checked out, so I was in line waiting for book 2 to come out. And I had this chunk of time and I needed to find something to read. Then I stumbled across Beauty Queens. I have been meaning to read it or listen to it for a long time, And I thought it sounded kind of stupid. It was. It was amazingly stupid, but it was amazingly stupid in the best way. It was absolutely hilarious. And my husband says that I do the voices, the impersonation of the voices entirely too well. There's this one character that's all like, oh my gosh, breathy, valley girl, total airhead. And she does all of the disc breaks. So every time it's a new disc, she'll say it. So like if disc 5 came up, she's like, disc 5 of Beauty Queens. Oh my gosh, that's like a whole hand. And it just cracks me up. I'm in the middle of working out and I'm laughing hysterically and people are staring at me. And then they do something really weird and I'm making weird faces and my husband's like, you've got to stop that. You need to school your expressions while you're working out because you are making the weirdest faces. But I was really pleasantly surprised. I was worried at first, and actually I was very worried at first because it was just too much for me. But Libba Bray wrote the book and she narrated it, and the characters, I'm telling you, it was hilarious. If you're ever looking for a book that you just want to laugh at, read, listen to Beauty Queens, because that book was hilarious. So for favorite new author, I haven't read this one, but I read her first one, and it is Emily Henry. She wrote A Million Junes, which is this one, and she also wrote The Love That Splits the World. And I know that A Love That Splits the World is getting a lot of hate, but I loved it. I thought it was an amazing book. It was definitely a 5-star book for me. I've actually had several 5 stars. As you heard, I had 1 star, but I've also had several 5 stars to go along with my myriad of 3s and 4s. And her first book, A Love That Splits the World, was definitely an amazing book to me. And so Emily Henry is by far my favorite new author right now. The next question was about fictional crushes. And I don't have one. None of the characters in any of the books really struck me as swoon-worthy. Don't get me wrong, I have enjoyed a lot of the main characters in a lot of the books, but I guess I'm just not in a crushy mood because I am not crushing on anybody. But I definitely have read some amazing male characters. I'm just not swooning. So my favorite, newest favorite main character, I was really debating on this one. I wasn't sure who to pick, but Natasha from The Sun Is Also a Star kept popping into my head. I loved her. She was so real. Nicola Yoon just wrote her so real, and she was passionate and lovely and humorous and serious, and she was just so multidimensional. That character, I don't know, I hearted her very much, and I definitely think that she is my current favorite character of the books that I've read so far this year. So a book that made me cry. I am a very emotional reader. I laugh easily, I cry easily, I get mad at my books very easily. The one I'm listening to right now has got a character that made me so mad, I wanted to throw it. But I can't because it's an audiobook. And I probably wouldn't anyways because I am against damage to my own books or other people's. One that really just made me sob was A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. And that book, I did a whole review on it. I don't think it's up yet. I think it's going to be up in like a couple of weeks. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, that one just bone deep, I sobbed. Totally, completely. My jaw was starting to ache because I was trying to hold it back, and my tears just kept coming. And it was so funny that they really, really blurring the page because they were rushing so fast. But I don't know if you've ever gotten that way where you're trying to hold back tears and it makes your jaw ache. Completely happened to me this time, and yeah, that was definitely my cry book. A book that made me happy was The Unexpected Everything. And it came at a time where I really needed a happy book. There's been plenty of books that made me happy. I mean, you heard Beauty Queens made me happy. There was a couple of other books that I've read that made me happy, but The Unexpected Everything just happened to come at that point where I needed a happy book. And when I sat down and read it, it just made me happy. And I think Morgan Matson definitely has a new fan because I just went out and bought the rest of her books. I do not have The Unexpected Everything. I checked it out from the library, so I'm stocking all sites, and when it goes on sale, it's mine. The most beautiful book I bought this year, there was a couple. So the A Million Junes was a very beautiful book. The Flame in the Mist was a very beautiful book. But I picked Alice in Wonderland because it's full of beautiful pictures. The inside cover of the actual book is beautiful. The dust cover is beautiful. It's just a beautiful book, and it's Alice. So of course I had to pick it. But I definitely have bought quite a few beautiful books this year, but this is probably my favorite. And the last question is a book that you want to read before the end of the year. And I have two series that I want to, one start and the other finish. My start, I read all the Percy Jackson books. I have a couple of the first Heroes of Olympus books, and then I also have a couple other books that I want to get to that are within the Rick Riordan world. And everyone said that you have to read these ones before you can get to the new Apollo books. So my goal is to finally read these. I only have two of them. I have this one and the one that comes after it. But once I get going, I will definitely purchase some more. But this is one of them. And the other one is all of the Shadowhunter Mortal Instruments books. I read the first three, which is the original trilogy of City of Bones, City of Glass, City of Ashes. And then you have all of these ones, which I was told to read next. I have the audiobooks for the original trilogy, and I think I'm going to listen to them to kind of get brought back up to speed, because it was such a long time ago that I read those. So I want to finish the series so I can actually start on the new books. I have all three of these and the last three of the original series, but I want to read all of those and actually get caught up so I can start the new series that she's got going. I'm so far behind and I really want to get caught up. So that is my very first mid-year Freakout tag. It's also my very first Tag Tuesday. These will not be an every week event, but I thought it might be fun to throw in a Tag Tuesday once a month or so. And I've been looking for just the right one to start with, and I think this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you later. Bye.